Hello and welcome to another episode of the Make It Epic Wedding Podcast. You're with Tim and Matt. Hey Matt, how are you, buddy?
G'day, mate. I am doing pretty well for a Wednesday morning. Can't complain too much. And mate, guess what?
What? Hit me.
Episode number 50. Here we are. How good?
50? Wowza! Who ever thought we'd get here?
I know. After episode number 1, we were like, oh no, what have we done?
We should
And
really
now we're
stop
episode
bringing
number
attention
50.
to that. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's our most popular episode, so we've got to tell people. Maybe we should re-record it, make it sound full, like real good, and then and then just like post it there, and no one will know any difference.
Yeah.
Well,
if you want to laugh, if you want to have a listen, have a laugh, then feel free to go back to number 1. But mate,
or see how far we've come from. I know, 50.
Holy
Wild.
moly. Yeah.
Mate, there's been a lot happening, hasn't there?
There has been a lot. And even today, mate, like today's been absolutely crazy. I know this episode's going to be, aired in a couple of weeks, but we released some huge news today that we have partnered with Studio Ninja.
Massive news. And if you haven't heard of Studio Ninja, we bloody love them. And, we're excited because you guys get a sneaky little discount. But on top of that, we've also created our first course, Tim. And how... It's an experience.
It was. And it wasn't something that was necessarily planned. I suppose maybe another episode we can dive into like our thought process behind it. But I suppose we didn't just want to be like, yeah, like we're an ambassador, like here, take our code, get a discount. Like, yes, that's still offering value to you. But I think we just wanted to, take it a step further and provide, those that are using Studio Ninja, some solutions to the problems that we had. And, those problems were, how do we set it up and how do we get it working as fast as possible so then we can continue doing the things that we do? And that's exactly what we did. We created a 70-part video series that really walks you through exactly how to set up your Studio Ninja, and how to really manage your process, your workflows, your email templates, like your contracts, literally everything. So absolutely amazing. If you want more information, we'll leave a link in the show notes so you can go check that out. And if you want to sign up to Studio Ninja, use our code and make it epic50. Get yourself 50% off your first year, which is huge.
So good. And I suppose the other thing we probably haven't mentioned too much is we also have a website now up and running. So make sure you check it out. It's makeitepic.com.au. We will be building on that website over the coming months and probably years, knowing us. Always trying to put new content out there for people. At the moment, the bare bones is there. It looks pretty damn cool. I'm excited by it. And the feedback so far has been pretty great too. So, things are moving along. Episode 50 and there's a whole bunch happening.
Yeah. That was a mountain to move, that website. It was definitely a mountain to move. But
I don't think we realised how much work it was going to be.
Always.
Always too much work.
But let's have a chat about today. What are we talking about? Because this is a juicy topic, man. Like, this is a super, super juicy topic. And I think if you are a couple, you are getting married, this might be a little bit triggering for some.
And potentially, or insightful.
Or insightful. I think it's going to be great. It's pretty funny. It is pretty funny. As a vendor, I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this one. And a bit of a laugh as well, because you're going to be like, yeah, exactly. I know.
We're bringing out our inner, I don't know, psychic, psychologist, counselor. Who knows what we're bringing out today? But today we're talking about. Well, when you go, what were we going to say?
Oh, did you know? I did a bit of psychology at uni. So
did you?
I did. So well, this is why
has this only come out now? You should be dropping this these golden nuggets before this. But anyway. So today's actually a full episode just run by Tim because he's got a uni degree on it. No. So today we are talking about how personality affects how you plan your wedding or a wedding. And there's a lot that goes
There's
into
a lot
this.
to unpack. There is a lot to unpack.
So strap yourselves in.
But like, think about it, right? Like every person is different. Every couple is different. A couple, has people with their intricacies, the things that really make them, their their uniqueness, their personality traits, the things that they like, the things that they don't like, and merging that into planning an event like a wedding. Of course, you're going to get, lots of opinions, lots of differences. But we wanted to really highlight, I suppose, the 9 personality types that we see often, and that we can portray. And, we're going to roll through these, and we're going to actually drop some golden nuggets in terms of, what type of vendor would that personality suit, right?
Yeah. Love it. And, maybe if you're planning your wedding, you'll realize pretty quickly maybe you're that style of couple, and that's how you can pivot your planning to, I guess, work in your favor. Or maybe if you're very early on and you're listening to this episode, you can work out maybe what vendor is perfect for you. So let's dive in. Let's not muck around, because today's big and I'm excited, and it's episode number 50 and we tend to ramble. So we're going to just get into it. Let's do it.
We tend to ramble. All right, number 1, the Thoughtful Meticulous Planner. We all know who these are. These are the ones that these couples love a schedule. They love to be precise. And this is not just to say it is the bride. This can be the groom. It could be both couples, both partners. It could just be one partner. It could be kind of a mix of the two. But we are talking about a couple in general and the main traits within that couple. So creating a precise schedule and having a comprehensive checklist, right?
Yeah, it's definitely, when it comes to I guess the meticulous planner part, that's obviously where the checklist comes important. They don't miss nothing. It's all about making sure that they've ticked all those boxes, crossed all those T's and dotted all the I's, I suppose. And, in doing that, you're ensuring, I suppose, as well, a seamless and a well-coordinated wedding, but it's carefully planned.
Yeah, I do love working with these, these personality types. I do love working with a very thoughtful and meticulous planner, because there's no stone left unturned. They have a lot of questions, but they're very decisive as well. But they also there's no rushed decisions. So there's, everything, in terms of our questionnaires, in terms of our workflow, everything that we send out to the couple is done on time. It's not like it's a rush to get things done a month or 2 months out, which is quite nice.
They also, I suppose, they know what they want from their wedding too, which for me, I'm that's great. If you have a very clear vision, as a vendor, that's amazing when people do have a clear vision. They know what the negotiables are and the non-negotiables are when it comes to their day. And I'm all about that. So I suppose that if you are out there and that's, you're thinking, oh, this is me. What type of vendor suits you? Tell us, Tim.
So it'll definitely be a vendor that's, a lot more confident, that does have a very strict process, has a strict workflow, because these type of couples, they expect a level of thoughtfulness and planning on your behalf as well. So the expectations are quite high that you have a dedicated workflow and that their needs are being met as well. But they also want you to make them feel comfortable. They want to feel safe in the decision that they've made, that they've hired, someone that knows exactly what they are doing, and someone that's very thoughtful in their approach to, how they're dealing with their couples as well.
Yeah, they also probably need a high level of communication as well. Keeping that communication, I suppose, chain open, not always being available, but, being quite responsive and making sure that that, I guess, relationship with your couple and vendor is quite high.
Yeah. So I definitely, for these type of couples, I definitely have more communication, more questions and more emails from these couples. Is that the same for you?
Yeah. Yeah, and I like it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I wish all couples did ask questions more often, I think that's probably just something, just when I was just saying that then, all of these personalities and stuff we're talking about today, none of them are right or wrong. And it's, there's no preference, I suppose, for us. It's more just who we're suited to. So don't take it personally.
Except one. There's one personality trait.
Yeah. You'll know that by the end of it. You'll understand which one we're negative leave to wars, but also we still have fun with them, so it's fine. And they do turn up. Anyway, all right, number two. Number two is the Zen couple, which I think they're probably the couple that, I don't know, suit us a lot. They pretty go with the flow, opting for probably like more of that like intimate, laid back kind of vibes. You know, focusing on like the moments and the connection. You know, like these guys are my vibe.
Yeah, love it. Like they're not necessarily fussed on the small details, which is which is comforting. They really understand that, you know, their wedding day is like an intimate and a special day for them, their partner, their family, their friends, and that's really noticeable on the wedding day. But it can also cause a little bit of mayhem with the planning as well. Like there's a little bit more work that your vendors need to do to account for, you know, some of the things that may be missed, because look, usually there's one partner that's a little bit more zen than the other. There's a bit of a carefree attitude, but the planning can be a little bit hectic because maybe they haven't thought about certain things which your photographer, your videographer, your caterer, your planner need to account for.
They're probably the ones that when I have a meeting with them, I open up their client folder and I'm like, oh, you haven't filled out any information yet for me. Thank you. That's lovely. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't know I needed to. Or, oh, I didn't realize that I had to do that yet. Like my wedding's not for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're usually the ones that are like that. They've got a pretty carefree attitude. They're pretty relaxed when it comes to the day itself too. And, you know, like vendors and what, you know, or you're going to say something. Oh, you had this.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what type of vendors will the Zen couple suit, my friend?
Yeah, like I think they're all about vendors that can really adapt to any situation, you know, because at the end of the day, if they're carefree and they're just going with the flow, as a vendor, we need to be able to probably match that that vibe. But then also at times we need to adapt and probably maybe push them in a direction where it's like, hey, we need to do this now. You know, so there still needs to be some sort of like authority, I suppose, from the vendor, if that makes sense.
I'm glad you said that because, like, even though like the couple will be chill and more than likely like the bridal party, wedding party will be chill as well. But like as a photographer or videographer, like or creative on the day, yes, you need to like match that energy. So it's important that you, as a vendor, you have a chill attitude as well, but you also need to really think about how can you influence, you know, those moments to get, you know, what you need to get, or influence those moments to really elevate their wedding experience as well. Because, you know, it may be a bang and sunset, but they're not gonna think like, oh, maybe we should like go over there. So it's going to come down to choosing vendors that you vibe with, and I think for these couples, it's finding people that they get along with, that they can have fun with, but also know how to direct exactly what they need when they need it.
They're probably a lot more trusting on the vendor, I suppose, as well.
100%,
like, they're like, oh, you do this all the time. I just, whatever you think, you know, and that's a pretty common statement, I would say, from a lot of people. So yeah, Zen couples, I don't know, I'm going to be biased. They're probably, I don't know. I enjoy the Zen couple. Have a vibe.
So number three is the aesthetically focused couple. Interesting, right?
The old Pinterest, Instagram, social media lover.
Yeah. So high fashion, intricate details. Focus is really on the look, and they're really willing to spend a fair bit more to get the best, right? But there is, I suppose they're really trying to incorporate the latest trends and contemporary ideas. But you know, the downside is they worry about everything. You know, the stress is on the small details, the little things. So really, I suppose, what type of vendor would, you know, the aesthetically focused couple suit?
Yeah, I think the vendor that's potentially a bit more coming from a high-end look, you know, can manage the expectations of the couple and exceed those expectations as well. Like, these couples probably have a quite high standard, and that's okay, you know, like, they're probably not going to suit the vendor who's like, hey, let's get you dressed and let's run through this open field full of cow poo and mud. You know, like that's not the vibe. So they're probably going to have to be a little bit more meticulous when it comes to maybe like placements of the dress or the suit, or, you know, just the little details, and probably are striving for perfection themselves too.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. All
Amazing.
right, let's move on. Number 4, the traditionalists. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I suppose the traditionalist is like, it's still, every wedding has some sort of traditional aspect to it. But when it comes to the traditionalists, we decided that it was kind of someone that was a bit more like honoring family traditions and culture and like really celebrating the timeless rituals and, you know, like what I guess your parents may have done or your grandparents may have done in the past. They're quite influenced by their family and friends, and that's okay. You know, there are definitely couples, and, you know, I've shot weddings before for people that are like, hey, we want to do this because mum and dad did it, or we want to do this because our grandparents did it, or my auntie said I should do this, and that's okay. 100%. I love tradition. I love culture. I love, you know, like some of my, I suppose my favorite wedding in the past year has probably been some of those ones that are full of some traditional and cultural aspects.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose like it comes down to as well, like how much of an influence does the tradition have on your wedding day? That, you know, may not suit exactly what you want as well. So, and these are the little things that we talk about. But what type of vendor would the traditionalist suit?
Yeah, I think like obviously it needs to be someone that understands some sort of the tradition. Maybe not even understands it, but at least is willing to take the advice and the information about the tradition on board from the couple. Maybe someone that's keen to do some like research towards it as well. So I know for me, like for instance, when I shot an Indian, Sri Lankan, Hindu wedding at the end of the year, start of this year, I suppose, over New Year's. And for me, like I had no idea what was going on. And I made sure on the day that I made friends with one of the aunties who, you know, fed me a lot of information as things were happening. I did some research before. To be honest, it was an interesting one because the couple also had never been to a Hindu ceremony themselves either. So it was fully set up by the parents. So it was a crazy, like the ceremony went for 4 hours. It was wild. It was so different to what I'm used to. But, you know, like, I guess who does it suit? I would say someone who's happy to put in the effort to learn a little bit about the tradition, and also someone who, I guess, values the connection between not only the couple but the families and the tradition itself.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. So I think like definitely a vendor that, you know, is willing to build a connection, like with the couple, and, you know, a connection to like that tradition, and really find out what is important for them, so then they can capture that the best that they can, or provide the best service that they can. So yeah, amazing. Let's move it on. Number 5 is the DIYer.
The DIYer. I feel like every wedding has some sort of
to a degree,
aspect of a DIYer, regardless of, you know, what level of wedding you're attending or you're having. But it's definitely someone that, you know, values, I suppose, like potentially saving a bit of money, being a bit thrifty. I feel like these people, like, you know, they just like, they want to make sure that they're saving some dollars where they can, and they want to have aspects of the day that are sentimental to them because they've put the effort in to create it.
Yeah, for sure. So like willing to save like a few dollars by doing things handmade, but also potentially like choosing like more like sustainable, eco-friendly practices, potentially like vendors as well. But I suppose that a lot of them are integrating like sustainability into parts of their wedding, but they just want to potentially make sure that things have a personal touch, that they have had a say, or they've had an input, or they've done something that's contributed to an aspect of their wedding planning, which I think is pretty cool and pretty special.
Yeah, I do also think that sometimes the DIYers, from my experience, is like they put a lot of pressure on themselves though too, like because they're creating all these things. Like on the weekend, a couple, the bride was like, "Oh, I hope you're loving your napkins because I just handmade 90 of them for you, and I was running out of time, and I did it all like 3 days ago." I'm like, man, that's so stressful to do 3 days before your wedding, to like put that pressure on yourself. Like, and then there's other people who were like saying, "Oh, did all the flower arrangements myself. And yesterday morning I got up at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. to go to the flower markets. I've never been to the flower markets before, and I created all these bouquets with my family and friends. And this morning I was here setting up before I got my makeup done or before I got dressed in my suit. Like that stuff, there's a lot of pressure on you guys to do that. So that's definitely the DIYer. But tell us, Tim, who does the DIYer suit when it comes to being a vendor?
So this is a tough one because a DIY, they can be.
That's why I made you say it.
You put me, yeah, you really put me on the spot because there can be a DIY in different ends of the market here. But like I suppose like on the cheaper end, like it potentially suit a vendor that's kind of on the cheaper side as well, which is completely fine. But you've also got DIYs that are willing to sacrifice certain aspects within their planning or sacrifice something to get their dream vendor, which is completely fine. Like that's happened as well. Perhaps that they value having photos and videos over potentially a nicer venue or the food, right? So like we've been to weddings where it's, potentially an Airbnb, but they valued getting amazing photos and videos over having, a high-end like cocktail hour and high-end entertainment, things like that. So it's, there's a bit more to there's a bit more to the DIY, just because they're on different ends, and there's probably, if you're a DIY, you probably can relate to another personality type as well.
100%. Definitely. All right. I feel like we've wrapped that one up, but I'm excited for the next one. If you can't hear my voice already, the next one, number 6, we are calling them the Zillas.
Man.
So, if you go to weddings often, this term gets thrown around a little bit, and it's called Bridezilla, but we didn't want to be like focusing on the bride, so we're calling it the Zillas because it could be a Groomzilla. I do always think it's quite interesting whenever I get emails from grooms asking lots of questions. I'm like, oh, we've got a red flag Groomzilla on our hands, and that's okay. I'm all for it. Maybe he's been forced into making some decisions and reaching out. But tell us about
get the old unbooked email out.
Yeah. Tell us about the Zillas, mate. Tell us what this personality type is.
So a Zillas is probably the Zillas. The Zillas is probably a combination of some of the personality types from what we've mentioned previously. But it just takes one thing to unleash the beast, to completely one short nerve that really just absolutely puts the Zilla on edge, and that's it. Like beast is out, and it's gone.
I'm thinking like the Hulk and She-Hulk kind of like combined here, like wearing like wedding outfits.
Yeah. Like they want everything from everyone, and they want it now. And I think at this stage, like in my business at least, it's quite like obvious to tell, like a Zilla personality type. And
sometimes it starts off like, where
sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does start off in the Zen couple era, might go to the aesthetically focused, and then next minute something's hit the wall and there's some punches being thrown, when the Zillas are out, and that's okay, and for me, I would say that like most of the time, these are manageable with experience. If you're a vendor out there and you do have a Zilla, like just lean on your experience. Sometimes with Zillas as well, it's like showing a little bit of like authority, I suppose, and like authority is the right word, but it can be taken out of context.
Look, I'll give an example. I had a wedding recently. It was quite a high-end wedding, and there was almost zero communication. And I really needed to, for my stories, like storytelling, my way of filmmaking, I really need to know things about the couple. I need to know their story. And I really wasn't getting that communication. So I had to send an email about, look, we need to have a chat. We need to have it now. Like it's, wedding's a couple of weeks out. And I got on a call with this couple and really just like went through like what are the problems, what are the issues that they're currently facing, and really like walk them through like, okay, like how can we solve them? And a lot of it come down to exactly what they wanted to do on their wedding day. They haven't necessarily done their like vows yet. the celebrant is not it was not actually a celebrant. It was a pastor at the groom's school. So like there was just vendors that haven't necessarily provided a lot of help in that aspect. So I had to walk them through that, and it was fine. It was absolutely fine. But I think potentially you can get a moment of like a Zilla personality type come out, but as a vendor,
I just
you need
love
to
the name.
understand. I know, but like as a vendor, you need to understand that it is not, it is not the couple, like it is not them, like as people. It's situational. And as a vendor, you need to be able to solve that problem, and you need to figure out like how best can you really create an environment that can allow the Zillas to open up to you and work out a solution to what they're currently facing.
Absolutely. So I think if you're a vendor out there, or if you're listening to this and you're feeling a bit bridezilla-ish and you're like, Zilla-ish, not bride, I shouldn't say that. But if you're feeling a bit Zilla-ish, like maybe the vendor that suits you the best is someone that you think can adapt, someone that you think you do wholeheartedly trust. I think that trust comes into this a lot as well. And someone that you feel like you can communicate with without them going a bit crazy and over the top, if that makes sense. And I'm saying like someone that you feel like you can email and say, hey, these are my problems, can you help me? Someone that feels like they can communicate well with you. If you're a vendor, you need to make sure that you're communicating, you're reaching out, and you're putting out those, I suppose, potential spot fires as they are happening.
Yeah.
Tim,
so
tell me, what's your favorite moment to capture on the day?
Oof. It has to be the moment all the hard work has paid off. You're now announced married, so the celebration can begin. And what better way to come down the aisle with some eco confetti popping like it's 2007.
2007, you say? Well, funny you say that. Imagine a one-stop shop that can give you the opportunity to purchase all the little things that make your day epic. Well, The Whole Bride is your shop, offering everything from bridesmaids boxes, clear umbrellas, confetti cannons, even some sparklers and a whole lot more.
Even fluffy slippers?
Yeah, mate, even the fluffy slippers for those toes of yours. Well, do not miss out on making your wedding day epic. Check out The Whole Bride and use our code EPIC15 to receive 15% off The Whole Bride store.
Yeah. So, and it can be a little bit of a giveaway, like if there's, this type of personality type coming out before the wedding. On the wedding day, it could be, something that goes wrong that completely just sets it off. And really, you need a vendor that can manage that process. And that's not afraid to tell you or the couple or either of you to just have a think about, what is happening right now and how your attitude could affect the rest of your day. And is it really worrying about, I don't know, the napkins are the wrong color? Guess I'm going to care about that. But that may be something that could trigger you and that could have influence on the rest of your wedding day. So it really, I think for this personality type, it's important to choose vendors that, have a very strict process, but also don't necessarily back down either.
Yeah, 100%. And aren't afraid to say what's on their mind in a certain moment to improve the attitude, the vibe, and the goodness that is happening on the wedding day. And everyone can do that. If you're a vendor out there, you should have confidence. You are the professional in the situation. So yeah, just really leverage on that experience.
I will say it is actually a very comforting thing, having, potentially like these personality types where, there is a problem. And as a vendor, you solve that problem for them. You really help them overcome that situation. It could be before the wedding day. It could be on the wedding day. But at the end of the day, or at the end of that problem being solved, they actually come to you and thank you for doing what you do. And that has really helped elevate their experience. So I absolutely love that.
As a service-based industry, and for like everyone that's in the wedding industry, that's what we are. We're a service-based industry. Like we should, like our motto, our why of what we do should be to solve problems for couples. And I know that sounds really strange, but if you think about it, what we're doing is the couple has a problem. They don't have a hairdresser. They don't have a makeup artist. They don't have a caterer. And you are being hired to solve that problem. Therefore, you are the one that has the power in this situation of, knowledge and experience and trust. So just make sure that you keep that confidence going when it comes to the wedding day itself. And when things do arise that are usually out of our control, use your experience, leverage on that, and really show the couple, turn them back into put it back into reality.
Yeah, don't just be like, throw in the towel and be like, oh, they're a Zilla and walk away. Not going to end well.
It's not going to fix the problem. Anyway, I feel that's enough about Zillas. We love them.
Yeah.
I do enjoy shooting with them. Please don't leave me any bad reviews. All right, so number 7. I also love this terminology too. The shipwrecks. Explain to me what the shipwrecks are, Tim.
Oh, I love this. And the shipwrecks are those couples that are nervous at the thought of being the center of attention, right? They love getting emotional, but low key, they need to bring a spare change of undies and potentially a Valium.
Oh man, should we tell the story? I feel like we can. It's been a little while.
Tell the story.
We won't be specific, but we've had couples in the past that literally have to plan out their day so that they can take Valiums at the correct time. Let's just put it that way.
They need a break. So they need a break throughout the day, which is completely fine. I think for the first wedding that I did, I was like, okay, well, breaks are super, like, if you want to break, hell yeah, like, that's fine. Like, if that's going to help elevate your experiences, that's going to calm you down, then we'll do that. But it's interesting as a creative to also witness and manage that process as well.
Yeah, it usually is a little bit almost get the paper bag out, having to blow into it too, because you're a bit overwhelmed by the situations as well. So look, I think that the schedule definitely needs to be flexible when it comes to these people. If you are a creative, you need to have a no pressure approach. You need to make sure you're giving them time and space when necessary, but also just reassuring them, don't be scared to communicate. Going back on what we were just talking about before with the Zillas, use your knowledge, your experience, and I guess your authority, and really talk to them and reassure them that the situations they're going into aren't that bad. For me, most of the time, it's most couples are so nervous about the speeches.
Yeah.
I really spoke to a couple the other night, and this dude's just oh, I'm just pooping myself, hey, because I'm so nervous about the speeches. Saying my vows, saying my speech, and to the point where he's my partner, she's going to jump up with me and we're going to sit there, we're going to do this speech together because I don't want to do it by myself. And that's a great way for you to realize and maybe put it out there into the world of maybe brainstorm how you can get over that nervous energy.
Yeah. So I think it's important, you have a warm and inviting nature, in this aspect as well. But it's pretty funny when a Valium's popped and you see nervousness turn into hype. Let's go. Let's party.
Yeah, ADD. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's when let's do it.
let's get it going. Hurry up. We've got 5 minutes to contain this energy. Let's roll. So I suppose we kind of touched on it, but let's just be real specific. So, what vendors does the Shipwrecks suit?
So the Shipwrecks will definitely suit a vendor that really understands the needs of the couple and that's aware of potentially the triggers or the social triggers around that. So again, not doing this on the day of, actually understanding, talking to your couples, knowing, the things that they have a hard time with and how you can help manage that. Because at the end of the day, as Matt said, you are providing the service. You want to make sure that, you provide the best service possible. And if the best service possible is ensuring that they have adequate breaks throughout the day, even if it means sacrificing potentially what you need to capture or do as part of your service, but it's better for the couple, and it's going to allow them to have a better day. So it's understanding that you can be a hype person when you need to, but you also need to manage the energy and be flexible with your approach as well.
Absolutely. Love that. And I feel like this probably leads into number 8 for us, which is the introverts. And It kind of is a little bit around the shipwrecks, I suppose, but the introverts probably take it to a new level in terms of their communicating with other people, the way that they act on the day. They really, really need their time and space, and they probably, I would say they probably really suit a timeline that kind of works in with their needs and how they're feeling at the time. I have a really good example of this. I'm shooting a wedding. Probably by the time this episode comes out, I'll probably either have just shot it or it's just about to shoot it. And this couple are like, I know that I need X amount of time between the ceremony and the reception. And I also know that I don't want to have heaps of people at my ceremony because I'm going to be too nervous, and I'm also going to be too introverted. I'm not really keen on public speaking. I don't want to stand up there and say my vows in front of everybody. So they're just going to have their family there, like immediate family at the ceremony. They're going to go, and we're going to actually have a break between the ceremony and when the reception starts, and we're going to do a few photos just before the reception starts, but there's going to be like a 2 or 3 hour break in the middle of the day for them to decompress. And that is something that I'm like, at first I'm like, why are we doing this? And then the more that we spoke about it, the more they realized that this was something they needed to do so that they could get through the entire day and into the reception and enjoy themselves. And I'm like, props to you guys. Give yourselves a pat on the back. I absolutely love that, because you actually have sat down, you've realized what you needed to do to make your day better, and you've implemented that. Even if you're a bit like, this is not normal, and we know it's not normal. I just want to say, what irks me is like when you know you need to do something, but you won't do it because you think that your vendors do it a different way every other day of the week. Like,
or you don't communicate with your
just
vendors,
tell us
like what your problems are.
Just tell us. And you know what? I'm so excited by this wedding because they're doing it this way. Yes, we're not doing a ceremony in the ideal lighting. Yes, we may not be able to do all of the portraits in the perfect time. And yes, there'll be some downtime in the middle of the day, but the day is going to be so much better because you've listened to how you feel, you know how you work as a human, and you're doing things that you do on a daily basis to get through the day. And I'm all about that. Your wedding day should not be controlled by anybody. Yeah. Do things that are unique to you for the reason that is for you.
Yeah. Could not said it better myself, mate. Well done, and wholeheartedly agree. I think that is super, super important. That, you know, if you feel, if you feel a little bit of nervousness or anxiety around, you know, you don't need to be necessarily a complete introvert, but like if you do feel some anxiety or nervousness around saying your vows or doing a first dance, like talk to your vendors. There's other things that we can do. And like having private vows is something that's completely possible, and we absolutely love doing that.
I prefer them.
Yeah. Like there is like obviously you do have to say like your legal vows, like the I do take you during your ceremony.
I do take you.
Look, I'm not a celebrant. I'm not a celebrant. Don't judge me. But like, I absolutely love the fact when you can be completely honest and say, look, you know, we're going to do the ceremony. We're just going to say like basic vows, but we want to say our own like private vows like at a later time during the day with just us. And, you know, I think that's something really special. And the fact that, you know, that's exactly what you want. And these are things like I know you do as well. Like we try and ask these questions like throughout the booking process to really get you to think about these things as well. Because like, it's not like as we've spoken about these personality types, like all these different personality types have a different approach in how a vendor should really communicate with them. And it's not a one size fits all. So, and it's as a vendor, like for me as a filmmaker, I'm trying to figure out like what's going to be the things that are really going to elevate your day and make your day, you know, more unique to you. But it's also understanding what type of personality type are you, so that I can adapt the questions I ask to better suit you.
Absolutely. I also feel like these introverted people probably wish they'd eloped, to be honest.
For sure.
All my elopements that I tend to do, especially when it's like a quote unquote proper elopement, meaning like it's just them by themselves, or maybe it's just them with their like two friends that have come to be witnesses. Like these people tend to be quite introverted. They're probably not keen on being center. Well, not even probably. They're definitely not keen on being center of attention. There are some elopements out there that people are doing it because they love the adventure side of things, but I would say it's more common to have people that are quite introverted and laid back and relaxed and not that keen on having a big spotlight on them. So what we kind of touched on already, but what vendor suits these introverted kind of types?
Look, it's probably a vendor that's not necessarily like in your face and very directional. It's a vendor that can, really make, the introverts feel comfortable, and like adapting their style, because we're talking about a range of factors that's included in the introvert personality trait, but it's being able to adapt with the certain specifics of each couple as well. But more importantly, understanding when enough is enough as well.
Yeah, love it. It's definitely important skill to have as a vendor, and I feel like out of all of these things, like, and every single one we've been speaking about so far, the most important probably trait as a vendor to have to deal with a wide range of personalities and people is being able to adapt to any situation. And I think the more as business owners that we can adapt, the better our business will flourish.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Well, right, mate, we're up to the last one, and this is potentially this is my favorite. I think that's your favorite as well.
Yeah, and it's the total opposite to the introvert. It's probably more down the extroverted route, but we've called them the party people. It's definitely the fun vibes that we like to get from our couples when we can, and these people are all about having fun. They're super focused on, like, I suppose what's important to them, like their family and their friends, and then making sure they're getting on the dance floor.
Yeah, 100%. But this is not to say the other personality traits, don't introduce an element of fun in their day.
Oh, not at all. No.
This is to really talk about the people that just want to get onto the dance floor and get the day done.
The formalities for them are quite low on the agenda. They want to smash them out. If anything, they don't want to do them at all. They would rather get no photos than miss cocktail hour or something like that. They want to get the champagne flowing. They want to get the cocktails out. They want to get the beers going. They want to have a good time.
They want to have the connection. They want to have a good time, but they want to have the connection with family and friends over staged moments.
Yeah, 100%. They don't want to feel like they have to be posed into a certain position. They want to move around. Like, there's a lot, I suppose for these guys, like, there's a lot more focus on the communication and the having fun over the capturing of specific moments. Yeah. And that's so fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously, like, as a like the vendor that would suit this, I know we're like jumping ahead, but like this is, like people that are very socially aware and are a hoot, right? Are a bit of fun, like in general.
Probably an extroverted vendor, I would say, like someone who's happy to get out there, say their 2 cents, enjoy them, like jump into the party, continue to create that good vibe. And I think if you're a vendor that is quite introverted, like I know a lot of vendors that are introverted day to day, but when a wedding comes along, they're out, they're about, they're keen, they're partying, they're having the best time ever, and then once the wedding's finished, they go back into their shell and have to have a week off to be able to like recuperate, and that's okay. But I think it's important to have some sort of extroverted vibe as a vendor to suit couples that just want to party.
Do you want to know my favorite kind of like trait with the party people?
Tell me. I was gonna say no, but I was gonna say no, and then I was like, oh, no, I can't say no because it'll be shutting down. So tell me, Timothy, I'm very interested. Please enlighten me.
It's the fact that the party people they can be detail focused to a degree, but they are dressed for practicality.
Yes, so true. Or they have a second dress for practicality or suit or something like that. You know, so they think about it. Like, so I guess what we're saying is like sometimes people who are keen not so keen to party, their attire is potentially a little bit restrictive. And the people that are keen to party know that they need to be able to move around. They know that they need to be able to get down and dirty with it. They don't probably care so much about, running through the open field and the poop and the, all of that goodness. So,
We've said poop. You've said poop twice. I'm like, we don't take you running for a cow poop. We definitely don't do that. But the party people don't mind if their dress gets dirty. The party people don't mind, if there's a scuff mark. Like I have an example. Holy hell, do I have a story? So
is this what irks Tim, or is this just an example?
No, it's not what irks. It's just a pretty funny story. So it was a couple of years ago now, but it was quite a high end wedding. But the couple were party people for sure. They just wanted to, get portraits done. Like, they had a little esky cruising around. It was at a high-end venue. They had drinks flowing. It was good fun. And they wanted some smoke bombs. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And the groom's brother dropped a smoke bomb on a $15,000 wedding dress and burnt a hole in the wedding dress.
Yeah, good. That's what you want. Love that.
But do you think that ruined the mood?
Nah, probably just escalated it. To be honest, everyone's probably just having the best time.
Yeah, look, I think for most people that would definitely cause some
100%
some havoc, and definitely cause some tense moments. But for these guys, they just rolled with it. They're like, sweet, whatever, it's happened. Let's just let's have another cocktail and get back to it. So I think that situation just shows the level of I think just the level of care, really, that they just they praise a moment where they can have fun over worrying about the small things.
Yeah, it's probably something that specific moment probably is something that everyone can take from, that example for you is how good would it be if we could all, I guess, yes, things go wrong on a wedding day, but how good would it be if we could all just kind of move on from those annoyances and downers that can happen on a wedding day and still enjoy it to its full capability. Sometimes the little things do ruin wedding days, and if we can get past that, that'd be awesome. Look, I feel like we just probably said, oh, we love party people the most, but you know what? At the end of the day, sometimes we go to weddings and every single one of these 9 traits comes out on a wedding day for every single couple. And
definitely
the reason why I love to shoot weddings still and so often is the fact that every wedding is different. Every personality type is different. And that's what makes every single wedding exciting and fun and different. And I'm all about that. I don't think any certain, personality type for me personally that I'm even though we jokingly say about the Zillas, I find the Zillas the funniest one because it's always the comment that comes out a lot at weddings. And I would wholeheartedly believe that I enjoy shooting every single one of these personality types. They all have a place. And I think it's important for you guys just to know, what kind of personality type you have and where you fit on a wedding day, and how you can make it suited to you depending on how you feel.
Maybe the next one we should do is personality traits for wedding vendors.
Yes, we should write that down.
I love, absolutely love working with all these. I don't know. I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I think I work with a range of these. But more so, it's just understanding. For me, I find that quite rewarding that I can understand this personality trait and better tailor their experience so they have a better client experience. And at the end of the day, they have the most amazing wedding day. Because I think sometimes as a vendor, you can be like I know exactly what you need to ensure that I can elevate your experience. And if you can do that and not expect praise, then hats off to you. Because I think it's a special trait as a vendor to have, to be able to.
It takes time.
Yeah, to be able to direct that. But yeah, it definitely does take time. So apologies in advance if you were triggered at all by 1, 2, or potentially some of these personality traits. But this is not to say, this is your trait as a person in general. This is just to say during wedding planning, it does bring out, sometimes it brings out the worst in us. But hopefully we can show that it can actually bring out the best in you as well. So cheers then.
what
Yep.
I was going to say before you move along and wrap it up, maybe just tell us what type of personality trait were you when you were doing your wedding?
Oof.
Out of the nine, pick one or two. You can pick two.
I was the Zen for sure.
Zen.
Yeah.
Was Kate the Zen too?
No, Kate was definitely not the Zen. Hell, no way, man. No way.
Please say Zilla. Please say Zilla.
No, she wasn't a Zilla. She was the Metaculus planner, the thoughtful Metaculus planner. So yeah, she has an event background. So she wanted to know every single detail. She didn't really trust me with any aspect of the planning. Really. She was one that was always overshadowing. And this is the thing, like within a couple, you could have 2, 3, 4, like you could have a combination of different personality traits within his.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
What were you? I think I know.
Definitely Zen was in there. There was a little bit of traditionalist and DIYer because we got married at Jess's grandparents' farm, and so that was pretty special. So like there was that traditional aspect to that too because a lot of people.
But you were already a wedding planner.
Yeah, a wedding planner.
Sorry.
Yes.
A wedding planner. Sorry,
I
interrupted you talking. Yeah. So continue.
Yeah. So I was already shooting weddings. I wasn't shooting them at the level that I was shooting at them post my wedding, I suppose. So at the time of our wedding, like it was in 2020, I was kind of like in that like in between stage, and then COVID screwed us up a little bit. So, but like definitely when shoot like. I suppose 2021, 2022 was like a monster couple of years, and that's when I shot a lot more. But I had a lot of experience. I knew what I wanted. So I suppose without thinking about it, maybe I did have the planner part of like the meticulous planner part of it. And Jess definitely had the thoughtful part of it because she was worried about like family and friends and what was going on there as well. So all of that plus a little bit of DIY because it was at the farm for the reception and like cocktail hour and stuff like that. So yeah, like I suppose for us there was a wide range of personality traits, but I think all in all the Zen couple definitely was there because we had to cancel our wedding because of COVID. So
yeah, right.
All of our original plans got pretty much thrown in the bin, and then it was like, all right, well, we just got to get married, and turned in like it pretty much forced us to become very Zen and just be able to get married regardless of whatever the situation was.
I feel like if I got married now, like obviously to Kate again, it would be different. I think it would be different because like I got married super young, man. Like not super young, but I was fairly young. Coming up to my 8-year anniversary in a couple of months, so I'm gonna have to plan for that. I
was going to throw you under the bus. Like, tell us the date, Tim.
I was going to say, do you want me to tell you the date? I can tell you the date.
Yeah, just go get the calendar out. Quickly check.
Yeah, let me just.
Right.
Yeah. 5th December, mate. 5th of December. It's always been the 5th of December. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, like our party was a wedding. Like it was a party, man. Our wedding party was a vibe. So, but the planning stage, it was definitely the Zen. The day itself was just about party vibes. And I think at that age, like that's all it is. Like we didn't really care about anything else. We probably chose the wrong vendors. We definitely chose the wrong vendor team for us, which is quite interesting. Maybe we can dive into that another time. But I've been on the other side of actually having a like creative team that's just didn't suit us, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's one of those things in hindsight, it's great. Like in hindsight, we would have loved to have had more people at our wedding. In hindsight, we would have loved to have done X, Y, and Z differently. I definitely think I'm going to make a note of that. I reckon we do an episode of like, if Matt and Tim replanned their wedding, what would they do to make it happen? I think that's pretty cool. I reckon people would be keen on that. Anyway, so let's just wrap it up there, I reckon. Let's just go back through. So we're just going to go through from 1 to 9, the personality traits that we think can affect how you plan your wedding.
So we have number 1, the thoughtful meticulous planner. Number 2, the Zen couple. Number 3, the aesthetically focused. Number 4 is the traditionalist. Number 5 is the DIYer. Number 6, your personal favorite, the Zillas. Number 7, the shipwrecks. Number 8, the introverts. And number 9, the party people.
Absolutely. And I think there's a little bit of something in every single one of them that, you know, most weddings do have, as we said. What are you going to say, Tim? You got a big smile on your face.
we're gonna when this episode drops, we're gonna put a post up, and we want you guys to comment which personality trait are you, and leave a comment in there. And I don't know, maybe we'll reply back with what we think you are.
Yeah, or maybe we'll just, like, you know, I think it's definitely keen. I'm definitely keen to find out some, like, honest truths here about what people think they are, and then maybe we, like, you know, maybe we'll touch base with you once your wedding's finished and find out how you all went with everything, and maybe you can give us some, like, hints and tips we can share with people too, because I think, like, you know, this is something that we probably don't talk about a whole lot in terms of the personality, and we don't talk a whole lot about, like, how that can really affect your wedding day, and it can affect it for a positive and a negative way, don't get me wrong. So hopefully today's episode has been full of golden nuggets and helped you guys just understand how you can do your
just to bring
wedding.
some awareness
And make it epic.
That's it.
Easy.
This is a monster episode, man. Absolutely monster episode. So
I'm excited by it.
let's wrap it up now. But mate, any closing thoughts before we say goodbye?
Not overly. I feel like if you are one of these people and you're like, oh, I don't know what I am. Like, if you're listening and you're like, I have no idea which personality trait I am. That's
you're definitely a Zilla then.
You're definitely a Zilla, yeah, 100%, because you're everything. No, but like, I feel like it's okay not to know, but it's definitely something just to kind of, like, sit down and go, hey, what if I was to put myself into a position of, like, you know, this, which one or which areas would I fall into, and how can I create an experience that I will enjoy? Because at the end of the day, whatever personality experience, like, whatever personality you are, we want to highlight this so that the experience on the wedding day is as amazing and as epic as possible.
Yeah, nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Amazing.
Well, thank you very much. We hope this is we know this has been a monster episode, but if you got to the end, we really appreciate it, and of course, leave us a review. We absolutely love getting your reviews. Matt's head's already getting bigger. I can see him reading out some, but we're gonna leave it there, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Are you sick of seeing the plain old reading guest book that you'll never, ever read again?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually don't think I've seen mine since my wedding night, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen mine either, which is really interesting. But imagine capturing your guest voices with a retro phone that's a bit more epic and receiving all the recordings as an online gallery.
That sounds absolutely amazing. Imagine all the, like, different voices you'll get to hear from everybody. Some of the drunken ones, and then also grandma maybe leaving you a cute and romantic one as well.
Sentimental voice memos from Nan and from family members, and then just imagine the boys giving you an absolute roasting.
So
well,
good.
Check out Off the Hook. Use our code MIA50 and get yourself a sneaky $50 discount.